This is Geometry Dash's second level, Back on Track. One of the most iconic levels in the game easily. And this is my silly little remake of it almost 12 years later, Back on Dash. What I didn't know when I had been asked to create it, however, is that it would end up being the first official event level in the history of the game. And it just so happens that I recorded much of the process of me creating it. So allow me to take you back to September of 2024, before this level had even began. What's up, AudieoVisual? I was tasked with remaking a very special level, Back on Track. So I get to remake this level, but brand new in 2024. And I'm very excited, because this is a huge honor, and I'm beyond happy to be able to do this. But here's the thing. The date I'm recording this is September 15th. The day you're seeing this is probably sometime in November. And because of that, I have to keep this secret for a very long time. Which is why currently the Back on Track remake is called Infinity Playtest. So no one's ever gonna know. The original Back on Track came out in February of 2013. This remake is over 11 years after the original came out, which I think is pretty awesome. First things first, I think it'd be fitting to go play the original Back on Track and see what things I can take from it. Obviously, I can't just rip the gameplay. That's ridiculous. I believe what I'm supposed to go for is like similar structuring and like similar themes. It also has to be yellow. And a lot of the most iconic parts of Back on Track are its structuring and obviously its use of jump pads. But like when you see this setup here with the jump pads onto the spikes, you immediately think of Back on Track. That's what I want to go for. I'm a big fan of making the decoration along with the layout. So maybe I'll just do that actually. Screw it. Why not? All right, cool. I beat Back on Track, so now it's fresh in my mind. The level has to start the same way. The classic introduction of the jump pads. I have to strike a balance between matching the vibe of the original level while still having it be my level. All right, so this just in, I found out that the level name's actually Back on Dash. So that's kind of hype. It has to be 3 to 4 stars difficulty. Making a 3 to 4 star is kind of tough. I'm gonna have to make sure this level is very, very easy while still being exciting. Also, so I don't go crazy, let me make a background color real fast. I'm a big fan of using default backgrounds anyway, so this will be perfect for me. I think what could be cool, the first part of the level is like more traditional, right? Pretty fitting to like actual Back on Track. And then later here where the melody changes, I could have it like introduce different modern gameplay aspects. You know what I'm saying? All right, and then here I'll have the classic jump pad moment with just ceiling of spikes. How on earth am I gonna decorate this, dude? That's crazy. I was on track and now I'm back. They're gonna say that. I hope people don't expect like crazy 2.2 layout stuff from this. Like, I don't want to be going on walls yet. I'm like getting nostalgic right now. This is some awesome structuring, dude. A lot of people hear 3 to 4 star and they think, oh, so I can't make fun gameplay. But I say that's wrong. Oh, that's so sick. Maybe I'll have a little mini part. I feel like mini parts are underrated. I'm like, oh, I'll use so many modern gameplay aspects and I use like pink and yellow orb. Real modern. Dude, that's so hype actually. Oh my gosh. That is insanely cool. It's so simple, but I feel like it works so well to like make it more intense, you know? There we go. All right, so that's where the next part will begin. But for now, we have this portion to decorate. I believe I'm going to try to get a lot of decoration done today. I'm not making Back on Track 2015, dude. I'm making like it's a good remake. I'm trying to make a good level here, y'all. I swear. Oh God, it looks like, for lack of a better term, it looks like a really early 2.1 glow level in a bad way. This is what I want to avoid. Never mind, this is a banger actually. Back on Track 2017. Holy frick! If my level ends up looking like this, it's over for me as a creator, dude. Holy frick. This is kind of scary. I'm trying to slightly avoid that kind of aesthetic. I have a color scheme for this level. The detail I was given was to make it yellow. That does mean I can retreat a little bit to a very classic color loop. It's pretty subtle, like color-wise, but I think it works. Well, I suppose let's try to come up with a design that fits. And I'm over here making the worst block design known to man. This looks atrocious. I am over using these nasty blocks, dude. Big old glowy 1.0 block. Boom. I gave it dots. I've been thinking a lot about incorporating effects into my designs, which sounds weird, but I think it could be crazy enough to work. But if I use an area scale, it's very bold and modern. Not me slowly learning to like what I made. For a basic design,
this ain't that bad. I also might have the background change colors here just to like keep things interesting, just like a slight color change. This intro part is kind of driving me insane. I'm not going to lie to you. This way, deleting these and having some of the blocks not have a scaling up effect, it gives it more variation, which makes it more visually interesting, I believe. Yeah, and honestly, I think that works pretty well. Dude, this is kind of clean, actually. Another super simple thing I could do real fast is a particle. Once again, taking a note out of second level's book. Here's our particle. It's pretty neat. I like it a lot. You know what else I can do? Since a huge focus of this level being a Back on Track remake is the pads, since that's what the original level introduced, I could make a really cool custom particle for the pads. Yeah. Oh, look how cool that is, actually. That's kind of sick. Custom pad particle. It might be a bit much. It might be a little overkill. I think it's kind of cool, though. Man, this came together so fast, dude. Like, it feels like 5 seconds ago I was stressing about how awful I thought the block design was, but here we are. Oh, that's it. I'm gonna start tweaking. I might be using some circle deco for this. My most recent level is Caraspace, and in this level, very frequently I used these like circle-esque decorations. Big old circles made out of super thin lines, and it's like one of my favorite things I've ever done. I could continue to tap into this aesthetic. It's time for the thin line arc, and it's never been in fuller effect. I now have it going over these blocks, and I think that's kind of neat, you know? It's ways you can use it like that I think are really cool. Am I making Caraspace 2? Okay, I feel like this is way too on the nose. For a Back on Track remake, by the way. Might I rule? Oh, yeah, that's okay. That is way too much. I need to remember what the frick I'm doing here. It is definitely not that. I can tell you that for sure. Boom, that's kind of nice, actually. It came out nicer than I was expecting, and I already thought it would look kind of good. That's kind of neat, actually. That looks pretty good. I'm thinking about it. I think this will just be a background change. I don't think it needs to be anything as crazy as like a whole part change. I can definitely keep the same designs. Fun fact, you can hide the ground with the options trigger, I believe. Right there. Oh, girl, I got no kind of ground. Okay. I am to make a custom ground, which sounds a little bit freak moded. To be truthful, I wasn't totally vibing with like the default Rob Top ground. Something was off about it for me. Yeah, dude, look at this. This actually looks kind of good. All I did was make it a solid color. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. That is crazy clean. Other than where it's clipping out of bounds. Either way, this looks good. I don't care that much. It's glowy Back on Track is essentially what I just made. So I think it's also very convenient that I have to make a yellow level. And this is the level that introduced the yellow pad. So I don't know if I want to fully commit to a yellow pad themed level, but the option's always there, you know? Oh my gosh, I don't know what made me think of it, but I could have like a big circle like on like the first part of the ground, so be like here. I could have like stars and stuff moving around it. That could be kind of sick. That's kind of neat. I feel like that's kind of neat. Guys, I wonder if he thinks it's kind of neat. With this in place, let's make a background. As much as it kind of scares me, I do think I will go with like the ridiculous over-the-top background. I'll decide how I actually transition into the background a little bit later, probably. So for now, I'm just gonna make like a background gradient, and this will be on color 12. This block's kind of giving bisexual vibes. Anyone kind of catch that? Secret bisexual block in AudieoVisual's level. But as just like a simple background gradient, not bad for first try. The second layer is the circle we're gonna have on the ground. I'm thinking like NCS vibes. You'd never guess why. Okay, so I already like this a lot, actually. Oh, why is it? Ew. Why does it look like this, bruh? I'm doing some thinking. Dang. Are you serious? All I did was change the saturation and it looks fantastic now. That's cool. We actually take these like crazy. I'm gonna grab a third glow ring just to like properly cover the actual part of it. I can grab that from here. It's not the smoothest ring of glow ever, as is pretty evident. But if I copy it a couple times and make it lower opacity, I think it'll work. The only time I'll ever steal is from myself. It's rainbow again. Oh my gosh, frick off. There I can just like crank the brightness down pretty far. And we have a very clean looking glow ring. Like super clean. Oh, it's beautiful. It's perfect. I don't care what anyone says. That's actually... It's good enough. It's pretty much perfect, I think. Okay. This is like so over the top. I kind of love it. I don't even know what this is supposed to be. It just looks kind of neat, I guess. I want to add some particles. Particles is going to be like the easiest way to make this look really cool. But when I say particles, I'm going to do something a little different than you probably think. I'm going to make a particle that I think will look really cool in motion. If you give me just a second. When this is like moving through the sky, it's going to be looking like that. It could look kind of cool. What the frick, dude? Oh my gosh, it's so off actually. Holy frick. This is technically following the player. So if I make it free, is that gonna work? Yes. Oh, hey, it worked. Look at that, dude. Yeah, when that happens, it looks super stupid, but otherwise, this looks kind of cool. I have a different plan. I'm going to, believe it or not, remake these stars again. So now there's a lot. Ooh, this is what I'm talking about, dude. There's so much more depth now. I'm going to show you what they would look like if they weren't on free and instead they were just on relative. Unfortunately, it makes it also factor in the X movement. So now they look like this. I don't know what the frick it's doing, but it looks kind of neat. Actually, you know what though? That's actually kind of sick. So I cannot be mad at that, dude. I cannot be mad at that. That is kind of fun. I was already talking about how I could use this exact same design format for the second part, right? Like that's already kind of my plan. So let me just throw some of these blocks in here real fast. That is not bad at all. That is like a lot, honestly, a lot better than I thought it would look. I don't know what I'm doing. Like at the end of the day, like I'm just a dude. Like I am no creating mastermind, and this has to be pretty good. So I'm gonna send this to the people involved with this project, and I'm gonna see what they think. Simple pulses like that can help a ton when trying to just make a part not even just necessarily feel more alive, but feel more full. I want to make a transition into this background because right now I just have nothing, but I have a really easy idea of how I could do it. If I just select the whole background, like everything on it, I'm pretty sure I could very simply make this whole background move onto screen. It's not the most creative transition, but sometimes transitions don't need to be that crazy, truthfully. You know what? That looked perfect. That looked absolutely perfect. I don't even care. It's definitely still in the early phases, but as a base for a back on track remake, I feel like this isn't that bad. I'm still not totally sure how to feel about it, but I think it's going to start to grow on me. This level will probably look a good bit different, but we'll see. I'm very excited to see where I take the rest of the level in the coming parts. So yeah, with that being said,
rumor has it once Audie finished recording, he would completely change the second part. He came up with an entirely new block design after much difficulty, added a vast star background to rotate around the giant glow sphere, and added a ton of animations and movements. With the looming deadline, he created gameplay for the third part, a robot, as well as a brand new background for the drop. Will he be able to pull through and finish the work in progress of the level before the deadline calls? Let's find out.
The day is October 7th. The deadline for the WIP is October 8th, and I don't have it done yet. So in typical me fashion, I procrastinated till the last second. But as I'm sure you've seen already, since the last time I actually recorded building, I've done a lot of stuff. I wanted to record more frequently, but low-key, I was not feeling this level for a long time. I was like, man, nothing I'm making is looking good. I was just like, I was high-key stressing about it. You know, wasn't sure what I was gonna do. But that being said, that has changed. Because this is the part I started last video. And when you last saw it, it was very different. I had the same exact block design, and I had a very empty background, and that was about it. I changed basically everything, except I think the core background's pretty similar. So this is what it looks like now. Way nicer. Holy frick. I love what I did with this so far. See, I got the yellow in here still with the floating platforms. And now here's where the whip comes in, where it's very work in progress. But this is all I need for the deadline, so it's fine. Got gameplay for this part, some light deco, some pulses. I really like these equalizer things I made, and the background pulses to their color. So I think that's pretty cool. I also have a transition with a title that I haven't made. And I made a custom version of the default GD background and put a bunch of glow behind it. So I have a really crazy looking rave part now. I'm very excited to decorate this, but I don't know if I'll be able to get to it today. So that's all I have done right now. Final deadline, less than a month. Deadline for the whole level being layouted tomorrow. So I kind of have to film this right now. I tried to match the structuring a lot with my level, even though the designs and like everything else can be super different. I have a bunch of these like long blocks with like platforms in between. So even when I decorate them, they're going to look something like that, I think. I want these like mountainous kind of structures for this part in the remake. I think that's going to be the most obvious background track thing I could add. This blue cube part, in my opinion, is so iconic. When I was playing this for the first time at the age of 9, probably, I was popping off. So I want the new generation of dashers who will play my level to have a similar experience. They're like, oh shoot, there's more and it's way different now. In the remake, I think that'll be a ball part. I think that'll make it pretty interesting. So let's get into it. So we have, look at this. Ship part, color change right about here, and then it's gonna like, is it like a little build up. Boom! And then the level will keep going, dude. And it'll turn to a ball. I'm gonna have like a sick transition. Ooh! The ideas are already popping off, dude. Ooh, I'm tweaking. I can't say that. And then let me see if this works. We should see the background change a lot. Oh, that's so hype. I'm actually popping off, dude. Catch me popping off at this. That was nuts. Main thing I want to do today, I just want to get the whole work in progress done. Basically, I want the layout done and then some light deco. That was my requirements. Obviously, easiest thing to do would just be structuring right now, right? I mean, it's going to be a pretty basic part, truthfully. All right, so given this, I'm imagining like a thick line going through it. And then what if this line like pulsed? Because if we're trying to make like a modern version of a classic level, I feel like the way to go to make it feel more new and alive is to make it feel, well, like I said, alive. If I make this level feel super lively, it's gonna feel like crazy fresh and like I'm playing a new version of Back on Track, you know? These blocks are so slow compared to the flipping background, dude. My bad. This is so hype, actually. Oh my gosh. I can already see it in my head, dude. This is about to be the craziest part ever. I'll have the player like pop out here and it'll be like a custom animation for the cube. It looks like it has one little stupid tooth. That's disgusting. Let me see. I swear I have a version of my cube somewhere. I gotta go find it. I'm fairly certain I have a version of my icon here. Yes. It's sick. I can thank my goat, Alicia, for making this for me. There's a lot of stuff going on here because there's like a flipping crazy advanced animation with my cube here. I will not be doing all that. So I can add this as a custom object. My plan for this transition is to kind of have like the player pop out, like it'll like fly through and then it'll like slow down a little bit and then it'll like turn into a ball. This transition sounds dumb as frick actually the more I think about it, but I'll try my best. Ooh! That's scrumptious. Are you serious? In the middle of my transition? Apple alarm? Oh my goodness. Transitioning. All right, let me see what this looks like in game. Obviously, I don't have additional effects, but I'm pretty sure the transition is fundamentally pretty good right now. Whoa! Dude! I've never really done a transition like this before. I just like randomly had an idea for it when I started recording and it turned out sick. Oh man, what a good feeling. And I just gotta come up with some gameplay for this ball part and probably some light pulses and a background for it as well. And then that should be the work in progress done. I'm a little bit worried because part of me wants to make this 3x speed, but then again, it's supposed to be like a 4-star. So I really don't want to make this any harder than it actually is supposed to be. I might maintain like super similar structuring just with a couple mix-ups because obviously this part of the song didn't really exist in the original level, so it's a bit harder to come up with things that just like automatically make sense for it. But with that being said, I do still think I can make cool stuff. Like right now, this ball part feels pretty slow and anticlimactic, but I think with enough cool things going on in the background and especially the foreground as well, I think I can get something that looks pretty good. I might have like a big impactful jump onto the ground here, which sounds kind of weird, but if I have something like this where I jump all the way to the ground, the camera's still locked, right? And I can like have the player like jumping around on platforms down here. I think that could be really cool. Makes it feel exciting because, you know, the player's vision has to move a lot from like side to side. I love this gameplay. I love this structuring. It's so, oh my gosh, I don't know, man. I'm hyped. I'm not an expert with the camera yet. I know 2.2 has been out for a long time now, but truthfully, I haven't messed with a lot of camera controls. Like most of my levels, the camera follows the player pretty smoothly. I've done a couple things here and there. They look kind of clunky. So I'm going to try to make something really nice and smooth looking. Ooh! Holy frick, that was not it, dude. Oh my gosh. That was not it. I was low-key having issues with trying to make the camera stop at the final jump and make it smooth, and turns out the whole issue was just because I'm an idiot, so it's actually totally fine. Now I just got to start working on some light deco, which is easier said than done, because truthfully, I don't have a ton of ideas. Let me sketch this out first. Before I do anything, I need to sketch this out. My idea is for like the most insane live updating gradient trigger sound wave soundscape 3D parallax background. And truthfully, it's a bit daunting, but I ain't never let that stop me. So I'm gonna lock in, and if it looks good, if it looks good, and we're set. So lock in I did. My plan was to make a bouncy line parallax background. It sounds somewhat simple in concept, but in order to make lines that move smoothly between points, regular objects couldn't be used, and it meant the effect would have to be done with gradient triggers, one trigger for each line. These lines would then get drawn between 4 dots, 2 on top and 2 on the bottom of each point, and then loop once to give it a smooth repeating animation for each of the 4 layers.
actually constructing it wasn't horrible, other than making each point have a unique floating loop, which took a lot of groups, but it all took forever. Once the base effect was complete though, I added bounce movements, pulses, and glow, and it was definitely worth it, since when everything came together, it was hype. We went through 300 groups with this background alone. That's kind of disgusting to think about. That might have actually been the most complicated background I've ever made. That's so insane. A couple things I want to do still. I'm high-key considering keeping these pulses alive, the background pulses, because I think they're just like so cool. I might keep the sweeping things in there. I might change it to a different kind of effect behind it. I think that would be the smartest thing. So maybe we remove this and we come up with a different sweeping effect behind the background, because it would definitely be easy. All right. Last thing I want to do before I head out recording today, because obviously we got the whole work in progress done with the layout and the most insane background I've ever made, and a really cool transition too, lest we not forget. I'm not going to quite have like the sweeping movements, but I want to have like, I think a circle pulse on each side of the screen. So it'll be like purple to blue pulse, blue to purple pulse, and it'll be just like a circle that scales up all the way to the other side. And I think that could be really cool. We can kind of see it, but it's so offbeat. Why the frick are the scales like so slow? Oh my gosh, because I had the scales set to exponential in out. No wonder they looked so lame. Holy frick, I'm an idiot. That's so stupid. Heck yeah, dude. That's sick, actually. What can I say? I think that is super lit. I'm a huge fan. I'm so glad I did it. I was so worried about this background. I mean, to be fair, kind of with reason. I mean, it was definitely a difficult background. I mean, this was probably top 10 most time-consuming background ever made, but I really do think it was worth it. And I think that's progress for today. I think that is officially the work in progress for Back on Dash Infinity playtest for Back on Dash done. So the next time I'll probably be recording, maybe finishing it at this point, because I'll obviously do a lot of work off camera. And as you already saw, I went through everything I did off camera just in the scripted segment. So it should be perfect. It should be absolutely amazing. I very, very quickly went from absolutely hating what I've made in this level to honestly genuinely really liking it. I think that's one of the cooler backgrounds I've made in this update so far. So maybe I'll actually pull through and make a really cool level for this. I guess we'll see.
With that, Audio's work in progress version of Back on Dash was finished right on time. From here, he would continue to build regularly. The level did have to be finished by the end of the month after all. He fully decorated the robot part, created the exact blocks he had in mind earlier for the ship part, and with lots of polishing done already, it was time to finally create the last part. Will he finally be back on track? Oh my gosh, he wrote the script for this. And not procrastinate finishing the level mere hours before the deadline?
The day is October 30th. This level is due on November 1st. So I am 2 whole days before the deadline. We have quite a bit of stuff to do. Since the last recording, I have done a lot. We got logos, custom geometry ash in the first part. We got ground deco. I didn't have the ship part fully decorated, and I didn't have the robot part fully decorated, but neither of those things are true anymore. This video, for the most part, this recording is going to be finishing basically the entire thing. So that'll be fun. I also made this transition, which I think is super lit. Space background for the transition. Background from last recording still. I did make this part 3x speed because it felt a little bit anticlimactic to have the whole thing in 2x speed. So that's what we're doing today. We're decorating this final part. I've already polished up a lot of the stuff, and I've already had some people run through this in playtesting. Fixed all their issues, visual and gameplay, so everything that's already decorated should be totally good to go, so that's awesome. I also have a peace tea, raspberry peace tea in front of me. I'll be sipping on this all recording. It's gonna be a great time. I have these things, and they're kind of reminiscent of a thing I made in my level Love You Less, but I'm gonna make them way nicer looking, and they're gonna pulse a lot differently, so I'll do that first. So this is what okay, yeah, this looks leagues better than this nasty design I had before, Schlog. Oh my schludness. This will be the art design for the platforms. I don't know where else I'd use them, so she placed the hex and she's gone with the flip just in time for Halloween. I don't even know when this video is coming out, but I'm recording it as previously stated, 1 day before Halloween, 2 whole days before this level is due. So I don't know why I procrastinate so much. It's a bad habit of mine that I need to like seriously get out of. This level actually has 3 coins, which I wasn't even planning on, but I feel like it's kind of fitting. It is a remake of a Rob Top level, right? If it doesn't have 3 coins, it's like it's not even like authentic. I gotta come up with some kind of design that's not just this one, which makes me sad because this design literally goes so flippin' hard. How am I ever gonna beat that? I have to beat that with a block design that has like the exact same structuring. The structuring is the exact same because it's back on track. I want to make it as good as possible, but at the same time, I do feel slightly limited by the fact that I'm making a back on track remake. I'm still gonna try my best, and I have been trying my best. I started doing this while rambling too. I wasn't even like low-key thinking about it. I don't know so much about this one. Actually, I feel a little cheap for basically just completely stealing a design from my other parts. I'm gonna take these values, the value of these blocks right here, copy values. I'm gonna apply them to a different block texture. Ooh! All right, that looks pretty nice actually. So with this done, I think I have what could probably be my base block. 531, and it looks disgusting. It looks absolutely rancid. The gradient was not it, but this on its own looks pretty nice. If I have this, I actually genuinely need something that's yellow for this. I got these objects on my level limeade, right? And they're kind of like gradient lines. I might do something like that for the surfaces. So this is like the general idea, right? I mean, I've done this trope quite a few times at this point, but it's also as easy as just doing this. The contrast is pretty nice. And this way, it's like now it's like an actual shape and it's not just a line. This is what I am talking about. But I do think this is what I'm gonna run with. I still don't know what to think about these top blocks though. I might end up changing those, but for right now, I know I like the insides at least. The ancient tropo once said, if you know what you're gonna do for one thing, you should start by doing that thing, because then you'll start in the positives instead of scramble to try and make something look good. This is something I've just started doing recently. Linking these two glow pieces, just like a flat piece and a corner piece, makes kind of a cool lighting effect if you want to texture blocks like they're being lit up from the top. I'm sure it's been done before. It kind of gives like a more polished version of when people used to like shade orbs in like 2.0 levels. And it looked absolutely atrocious, but people did it for like so long because like no one just got the hint that it didn't look that good. This is how people would make their orbs look, and I'm so serious. Like this is actually genuinely how orbs looked for like a period of several years in like 2.0 and 2.1. Purple to yellow, like this is scary. Like pulsing purple to yellow, that's horrifying. I want to make the pulsing objects on the outside pulse white the same way these do, as you can see, boom, like that. So I'm making all the surfaces pulse with like the cool thing I showed you guys earlier. It would have been really swag to have done this from the start, but I didn't, and it's fine. I just have to remake a bunch of stuff. If I end up changing this design, I think my life may cease on the spot. They're pretty noticeable. I mean, they're decently noticeable. They're not like the most insane thing ever, but they definitely look pretty nice, I think. If we can have some like equalizer effects, I feel like that'd be kind of cool. Area move. I bet I could do them with area move. Let me try that. If I made this like 743, sorry, I don't know why I got so mad. Okay, if I made this like 743, and then I have a little setup down here that rotates a dot, and then I believe my goal would just be having 743 react to 744 based on height with an area move trigger. So I just make them move up with a bunch of variation. I know you can make equalizers with area move, but I've never done it. Oh! Oh, absolutely not. That looks horrible. Oh, if this looks like an actual equalizer, I'm popping the freak off. Whoa! That stuff was equal and rising. That's what I was trying to get. I'm trying to get it to like kind of match the beat of the song. That's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. I will say it's pretty flippin' cool. It like adds to the rave aesthetic. Like I low-key was trying to go for like a rave aesthetic for this drop. I mean, you can see the first ship drops visuals are like, they're very much rave inspired with the crazy lights and stuff. So it does worry me sometimes. When it comes to making designs, I'm not the best. I'm fairly inconsistent when it comes to my ability to make something nice. Like I've made good block designs this level. Not all of them were first try though. And again, I also don't want to tap like, are you serious? Why? I genuinely have no idea why the game is programmed this way. You literally just can't flip some warped objects. Thanks, RobTop. Thank you. Okay. Is it swag? Ooh! It's swag. For pads, I made like these particles, and there's also a particle that plays, custom particle that plays every time you hit a pad, right? That's something that's special to this level. Like no other pad in Geometry Dash has this animation. I want to make it feel like very specifically fresh and unique. So I made custom pad animations, and I think they're a cool touch. All right, what's this part like missing? Other than like really obvious stuff. I'm trying to think of like stuff I could make this like really cool. I think I might add another orb animation. And to do that, I'm going to go into my previous levels and see if there's any cool animations I can steal. That's right, guys, we're stealing. Let's go. Dude, this level had insane animations. It's too bad it just freaking sucks. Like, actually. But what I could do is have like a double animation. And I'm just gonna make this on my own. Well, all of those I made myself too, but I'm not gonna steal from myself in the past. All right, I'm gonna make like an animation for each orb, and I genuinely have a good idea for it. It's hard to explain. So instead of trying to explain it, I'm just gonna make it. So I have all the frames of my animation. It's gonna go thin line, thicker line, this circle, and then the orb will appear. I'm gonna put this all together real fast and pray that it looks good. Honestly, that does look kind of cool. In motion, when I wasn't even like really paying attention to it, that looks kind of sick. I don't know why, but I just like in my mind, I just imagined a particle animation for this too, and I'm gonna absolutely do that now. After this though, I think we're looking like this animation might be off to a really cool start, and I just have to add it to every orb and then we're set. And then the other thing I want to make is very subtle glow the color of the orb underneath it. I want to have something indicating that there's an orb here, because this has to be pretty beginner friendly. This is supposed to be a pretty easy level, and I want to make sure it's a very, very fair level. And having a fair level with orb animations is kind of scary. If I have something like this here, it's like very, very obvious that there's something here that you're gonna have to hit in a couple seconds. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, my slime. What a gorgeous particle. Look at that. I made a little sparkly particle. Now that's going to go over the orbs, and it's going to act as very, very clear indication that there is something you're going to hit here. Holy freak, they're so shiny, dude. I think that's actually really cool. It makes me want to add more particles to like other stuff. Making your own custom particles, like newfound, crazy, underrated tactic. It's actually sick. Freak yeah, dude. Oh, that's so hype. That looks so good! Oh my gosh, that's actually so lit! Holy frick, that's so cool! What a win, what a rush! The next thing I want to make is these platforms glow. If you guys like my ASMR, I think it's pretty great. That's pretty nice though. Oh god, actually that looks really good. With the pulses too, makes it look very impactful. And the next step is going to be making all of these have really, really cool movements. And I've done platforms like this before in a level, and I believe I'm going to take some movements from there. Let's see, this level's aged a little badly, but I remember these platforms I made, and when it was brought up to me to try making some geometrical things, I remembered these, and they look pretty cool, and I just want to see if I can try to copy their movements a little bit. Good lord, 812. Why do I have so many groups in this level? So now it's like that, you see what I'm saying? Or when you step on this one, only this one has the white pulse, and it makes it feel a lot more impactful, because when I was playing it, it pulsed like right after I touched it, and I was like, that doesn't feel right. Ooh, dude, it's so cool actually. That's so lit. Those are, oh, I love how like interactive they are. We're into 900 groups. Back on Track remake. By the way, might I remind you guys once again, I am considering, I might make a particle pulse for when you land on these. It looks good though, that's the thing, it actually looks good. Beautiful, dude. Holy frick, I don't care, that's actually so hype. I don't know why I talk like a 12-year-old from 2016 saying flipping hype and swag, borderline unironically. So I'll try to be better for you guys. I think it's actually done now. And by it, I mean all those flipping stupid platforms. I gave each of them movements, each of them unique pulses, each of them unique particles, each of them unique floating groups. I'm gonna lose my mind if I have to make these stupid flat platforms any longer. That looks actually like amazing. I'm so serious. I think I popped the frick off. I popped the goodness off. Tell you what, I'm gonna add more particles. I'm gonna literally just go through and add some more particles. And now guess what? These are my custom portal particles, and I just invented these basically. And the great thing is that if you make a particle that's like pretty straightforward and basic, like it just has a little bit of color variation, this can be put on every portal. I kind of mess with it. And on that same vein, the one other thing I actually like 100% knew I wanted to make a particle for were these coins. And I'm going to take something very akin to the portal particles or the orb particles in this part and put them over the coins just as like an extra little sparkly detail. Look how nice that is, dude. This is what I'm talking about. Despite how it may feel after hyper focusing on a bunch of dumb stuff, I think this last part is pretty close to being done. I gotta add some extra air deco probably. Definitely some arrows I think would be nice. I wanted to make an end screen, but honestly, I don't know if I have time for that today. So instead, what I might do is I might finish up air deco, and then I'll save the end screen for the final bit, and you guys will see that in the full showcase, which should be hype. I am so beyond happy with what I made today. I was so worried. When I'm recording myself building, it's not always like a guarantee that it's gonna go well. That was flipping easy. That was actually like the easiest air deck I've ever made. So these are pretty cute. I just have some shapes, right? I'm gonna sprinkle these around in the air. They don't have to be super big or prominent, but I do want to make them rotate, which is gonna be kind of redundant for the circle, but it's fine. There's so much stuff in this part. Like, it's actually kind of hard to believe. If I'm making details, I am hyper focusing on them until they look right. That is the unfortunate thing. Yes. Oh my gosh. I actually love this. I really, really, really love this. Like, I so genuinely love this. I think for now, this part might be done. Obviously, I still have to polish it up a little bit and add an end screen, which I'm going to do off camera because 4 hours into this building session, that's a little rough. But it's honestly fine. I'm feeling so good about it. There we go. And that's where the end screen will be. It's hard to believe that Back on Dash is almost finally finished because it's been such a treacherous journey, especially having to keep it like 100% secret. Honestly, looking at it, I think this is easily the best part of the level. Not bad, dude. And yeah, hopefully this video doesn't come out in December. That would be nice. Well, it's not quite December, but Back on Dash was finished right on time and released to the public soon afterwards. When I was building it, I didn't actually know that it would be the first event level. I knew it would unlock an icon somehow, but it potentially being the first event level was merely a speculation that I had had. That turning out to be the case is still completely unreal to me. When I was asked to make this level, I thought it'd be a cool little project I got to make for the NCS album release, but I had no idea I would coincidentally hold the very first event level in the history of the game. Then, just 2 days after I finished recording the last part of this video, RobTop tweeted out this image officially announcing the NCS album levels. In this image was a screenshot of Back on Dash, and literally every single person ever guessed that it was a level made by me. So for about a week before the level came out, I had to play it cool and pretend that I had no idea what they were talking about. Thankfully, it was only for a few days, since on November 7th, RobTop tweeted this out announcing that I would be the first creator featured. I still kind of can't believe my eyes looking at this image, even though it's been quite a while since it happened already. Frankly, it was the highlight of my career thus far, and it is still a memory I hold extremely dear to me, seeing all of my friends get excited. So thank you everyone for the support on this level when it first got announced. Update 2.207, the update that added event level functionality, came out right around that time too, and it sat empty and awaiting until November 9th, when Back on Dash finally released. It is still such a huge honor to have been asked to make this level, and I want to express once again how grateful I am to everyone involved for allowing me to create something for it, especially with so much creative freedom over how the level turned out. It was stressful in the moment since I had seen how incredible all of the other levels for it were turning out to be, and I knew my level could never really hold up, but I'm happy most people liked it for what it is, and I am so happy to have a place alongside all of these amazing creators and levels for the event. And now, of course, the actual album itself is out on streaming, so make sure to go listen. I've probably listened to Back on Dash more than anybody alive, but even still, I think it's a pretty good track. Anyways, that concludes this video. The level somehow now has over 2 million downloads, which is freaking crazy, but it's still in the event vault, so if you haven't played it, you should definitely check it out. And if you enjoyed this video, it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe, so I could keep making building videos like this. With that being said,